Welcome to Okemo Valley, your place in Vermont. This is Margie Graff, Executive Director for Okemo Valley Regional Chamber of Commerce. I have two special guests with me today, Dan and Penny Cote from the Inn Victoria in Chester. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
First of all, let's start off before we get into why you're dressed like this. And what made you decide to come to Vermont, especially Chester, Vermont, and go in the bed and breakfast business?
Oh, you want me to answer? Oh, my goodness. Well, Penny and I have been married 30 years. And at our 30th renewal of our vows, I looked at Penny and I said, you know, it's time for us to follow our dreams. And we've had a dream of running a bed and breakfast for many, many years. And we just got caught up in the corporate life and said, it's time to do what we want to do. And so we moved to Chester because Chester is a beautiful Vermont village. And it's close to a lot of people on the coast who want to experience this way of life. So here we are. And the right inn came along.
Wonderful. Now, what background were you in Maine?
I was a senior vice president for an insurance company and travel around too much. And I was really never home. So this works very nicely for us.
Oh,
and Penny was an educator, still is.
I homeschooled my 3 children, and I was running a small private school in my home. So I now continue to run the small private school, both in the inn and also online.
Wonderful. Now let's get into the period costume. I know you guys are doing wonderful things in Victoria. I hear about it from guests. And let's start with your high tea.
Well, this is the Regency era costuming. Jane Austen, in case people don't know that. So the costuming started with the idea of celebrating Jane Austen's birthday. But then we got thinking about what could we do to bring local people into our inn and to see our inn. And so we decided that we would serve high tea. And so every weekend and on special occasions or by special request, I'll do other days, we serve a very fine high tea at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday by reservation. And we have savory little sandwiches. Sometimes they're shrimp or smoked salmon, or the traditional cucumber. Everybody loves the traditional cucumber. And then we have very wonderful scones with clotted cream or Devonshire cream from England and lemon curd. And then I have lots of little sweets and always some fresh fruit.
I think I'm going to have to come now.
Well, I hope so.
I'll have to plan it or get to Chester around 3 o'clock.
The only problem is there's never any left over for me.
Oh.
We have lots and lots of tea choices, and I keep adding to that. This last week, we just got in some lovely chocolate mint tea that is just to die for.
Yeah.
Every tea is visited by Mr. Darcy. In case
I do my visitation.
Yes,
I
so
do.
he comes to visit and greets everybody at the tea. It's really a great place to just relax with your friends. We've had children celebrating their birthdays and bringing their dolls. We've had friends that have gathered together once a year, and they come to have tea, and they just sit and relax and enjoy themselves.
I love the fact that it's not only for visitors, but it's for locals. And I also love the fact that you've partnered up with other businesses. I know like Hugging Bear Inn is also part of your Jane Austen weekend.
Yes, and also part of our murder mystery weekend.
Oh, let's talk about those murder mysteries. I love those.
The murder mystery weekend is this fantastic story that my 2 girlfriends and I put together, and it's basically who's going to kill Prince Albert. Our inn all the rooms are named after Queen Victoria's children, and of course her husband died at a very young age, and he died of typhoid, but we're changing the story just a little bit, and we're going to try to discover who killed Prince Albert. It's very historically based, and it's going to be just a blast. And people really could join in on it, even if they weren't staying with us.
The murder mystery takes part throughout the whole community of
whole
Chester.
community.
So
Oh,
various
wonderful.
businesses will be involved, and it's really going to be cool.
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
Yes,
that's
we're
great,
going
like
to-
a whodunit, right?
Yeah, we're
And-
going to have
Yeah.
clues all over town.
Oh, that's great.
And so it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
That sounds good. You mentioned about history, and I know you've, when you came, one thing that impressed me is you came into the market, came into Chester, and you immediately got involved with the community.
Yes.
I know you are on the Chester Historic Society. I know, Dan, you just got Vice President of Chester Rotary. Congratulations. And I think that's wonderful, because we're all in it together.
Yes.
And I think we can all help each other, and that's what we try to do in the chamber is match businesses together, get everybody working together to create packages that I can market. So that's wonderful. Do you want to say anything about the Historic Society or what you do with them?
I'm a secretary to the Historical Society, and it's just a marvelous group of people, and we're just having a lot of fun. We're putting together a book about the old houses in Chester right now, and hopefully I'm going to get that all edited shortly. We've just done a calendar. So it's just a lot of fun. Dan and I decided to split ourselves across the town and to join things so that we could go with both with our passions, and history is my passion, but also
Get a cross-sectional
get a cross-section of the town.
perspective and
So
work
we're-
with different groups of people.
Right. We're
Yeah.
so enjoying this small town life. It's probably it's a dream come true
It
for
is.
us.
It
That's
really
wonderful. I
Yes.
think I'm going to have to do a little video on economic development. I know, I'm serious about why do people come here to live and raise a family? I mean,
is. Right.
I think there's so many people we could attract to our area.
Yes.
And you're a perfect testimonial of
Well,
how it
thank you.
works, especially
Yeah.
with raising kids and having a business and being together in a small town. And
Oh, it's just a dream come true.
I think this area's got so much to offer, and sometimes we take things for granted, where it's in our own backyard. And just being new to the area, I think we have an opportunity to look at things a little differently. And when we look at things, we see nothing but opportunity everywhere we turn. It's amazing.
We always lived in a large city atmosphere or a large town atmosphere, and this small town offers the skating rink in the backyard.
incredible.
We have this beautiful skating rink that the town maintains all the time. We have a beautiful sliding hill. The green in the village is just so nice, and you walk down this. We walk down the street with a dog, and most of the businesses give her cookies.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
So everybody is just so friendly and so nice, and it's nice to actually feel like you're visiting friends when you go to the bank and the
Right.
post office and things like that.
And people from the cities don't get that, you
Right.
know, and they come here to vacation, and when they see that, they're just, wow. It's
Right.
well, that's why
Nice.
we're ambassadors
Yes.
Yeah.
in the
that's right.
Okemo Valley.
That's right.
And being not only a chamber but a visitor information center, I hear from all the visitors.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing they said to me, which I'm very proud of, is, everybody here was so nice. I've
you
never
go.
met,
Yeah.
everywhere I went
right.
in the Okemo Valley was so nice and helpful. I couldn't
Sure.
believe it. And then I opened your regional guide, and there was your customer promise. She said, "Congratulations, you are right on." So I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so
Yes.
proud of
Absolutely.
us," you know.
Yes,
And I
yes.
think that's what's going to make people come back to our area is because we care, we're helpful, we
Right.
all work together,
Right.
Yeah.
and we have customer service.
Yes.
And
yes.
I think that's what's going to keep bringing people
It's-
back here versus other areas.
It's very
question.
important. It's very important that the customer is first and that they enjoy themselves while they're here.
And then, they talk about a recession, but I just pulled all of our numbers from the state, and we are up year to year from 2007.
Yes.
So, we're doing good.
Yes.
And I think it's new blood, it's working together. We have an upcoming mixer next month, and it's going to be another Let's Make a Deal.
Yes.
You know, where everybody's going to partner together to create packages that I'm going to go and sell at the Biggie and the New York Times Travel Show and the Boston Globe Show in New Jersey. We're going to do a AAA show too next year. So the more we get that out, the better. So things like what you're doing are things that sell to the visitor because they don't have that where they come from.
That's for sure.
One thing that we thought of putting together, because so many people go to the cities to do this, is the American Doll package.
I love that.
And that was Dan's dream.
Well, we had a nice young lady visit us one day with her mom and her grandma. And she was sitting there all pretty, nice dress, and her hair was done up, and her doll was in the car. And I asked her, sweetheart, can you bring that doll in? So she sat it right next to her, and they had high tea. And I asked her simple questions like, would you come again if you had some friends with you? Would you like to stay overnight? And the answers were all yes, of course. And so we thought, why don't we do an American Doll event just for a weekend, one night with mom or grandma or whoever. And you know, we mentioned that to many of our guests from New York and Boston and so on, and they just want to be a big part of that.
And it's going to have an education portion to it where we talk about the Victorian era, where we talk about how to, the etiquette of the time and how to be a proper young lady and things like that.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful because the etiquette part is missing with the children growing up today.
It is.
And this is a big part of this.
That's awesome.
Yes.
It's much better than the American Girl, take your American Girl to New York.
Right.
You know, and spend a fortune.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that once again it becomes a large enough event. Our desire whenever we do a package or an event is that we spread it throughout the community.
Yeah, and that's perfect.
And that's what we're hoping for with our murder mystery, with our Jane Austen birthday party, where we're celebrating that the week before Christmas, and we're just so hoping that that we have a young reenactor coming that's going to dress much like me, and she's going to discuss the clothing of the era. And we're going to do a English Christmas dinner for our guests, but we're going to have high tea with this young woman, and people from the community are invited. And we're hoping that many of our guests and our tea guests are going to come in costume.
Nice.
And we're going to have book discussions about Jane, and we're going to watch on a very large screen the A&E version of Pride and Prejudice. So it should be a lot of fun.
That's going to be great.
And
you know, we're always looking for ideas, but you know, the really cool thing is some of these ideas were little seeds that came to us from friends.
yes.
And I remember the American Girl one. A good friend called us from a beach one day while they were on vacation and said, guess what? I got a great idea. And we followed through.
Yes.